Good morning. So for today's lesson, we are going to dig a little bit deeper into the descriptive paragraphs that you wrote over Monday and Tuesday. So on Monday, I asked you to write a paragraph about qualities that you believe a hero must possess. I'm going to assume, because I have not read the paragraphs yet, I'm allowing some of your classmates time to get those in before I start doing that. I'm going to assume that on Monday, most of you, if not all, focused on very positive qualities. Things like intelligence, bravery, thoughtfulness, selflessness. Those are all very positive qualities. And when we think about heroes, we tend to do that. We tend to look at only the positives of those kinds of personalities, and we rarely think about the negatives. A character like Deadpool is a beautiful example of someone who took a point of view that is not often paid attention to and flipped it. Because Deadpool is a hero in that he acts in a heroic way oftentimes, but he is not your normal hero that we think about. He has several negative qualities, which was the focus of Tuesday's activity. So on Tuesday, I asked you to look at heroes from another perspective. Yes, heroes are brave. Yes, heroes are smart. Heroes are selfless. But in some circumstances, heroes are not just selfless. They are selfish. They are arrogant. They are larger than life. Because in order to do some of the things that we ask heroes to do, those things have to be met. And so on Tuesday, I asked you to think about the other side of heroism. So is there a negative side to being a hero? And if there is, what are those qualities? I'm hoping that many of you talked about the arrogance, maybe the selfishness. When you think about what heroes have to give up in order to be heroes, we often see that as selfless. But a lot of the times when you're off saving the world, other people will sacrifice in your life. I want you to think about the story of Superman, right? So Superman is probably one of the more popular heroes in our current time. We think about him as a hero, but I want you to think about all of the things that Superman, not only did he have to give up, but all of the things that everyone around him also had to give up. You know, he sacrificed a lot, but so did his family. And he oftentimes put the fate of the world and the fate of mankind ahead of the fate of even the woman that he loved. It's an interesting paradigm that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, oftentimes in heroic literature. So today I'm going to introduce you to a hero that has been around for a very, very long time. For some of you, this will be your first introduction to this character. For others of you, you are well informed about the character of Beowulf. You've heard of him. Maybe you've watched a movie or a show where it's been the focus. Beowulf is an incredibly popular character in literature, and he is considered to be one of the epitomes of a heroic character. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on the small script that I'm going to read to you today, and then I'm going to read it to you, and I'm really just going to ask you today to think about this script. How does Beowulf, the character of Beowulf in this little speech that he gives, how does he reflect some of the characteristics that you gave when you talked about both the positive side of heroism and the negative side of heroism? I'm going to give you a little bit of background first. So Beowulf is a traveling soldier. He is considered to be the strongest, smartest, bravest man on earth in his time period. He happens along, he's on a ship and it crashes, and he crashes onto the shore of this small little village. So this small little village is a place called Herat, and it's ruled by a king, and they have suffered great loss in the last few weeks of their village time period. There is a monster named Grendel who at night comes and eats people. And so they have lost children, women, many soldiers. And the king is sort of beside himself because his soldiers have tried to fight this monster and no one's been able to kill it. Well, he does have a warrior who is there and has been telling the king that he's going to take care of the Grendel problem. I'm going to take care of it, Your Majesty. Well, then Beowulf shows up. And it's sort of like, you know, in our school, basketball is a very popular sport. right? And a star basketball player gets an awful lot of attention from a lot of people because we like basketball. When you think about the stars in the NFL and the stars in the NBA, people know who these guys are. Everybody knows who Tom Brady is. So when you think about basketball at our school and you think about the players on the team who are really good at what they do, when a new student moves into town, and let's say this new student is really good at basketball, when a new student moves to town, and you've already got some really good players on the team, there is definitely going to be some rivalry there, right? The old players feel like this need to prove themselves, that they are the best fit for the team. They know the team. They've played on the team. You guys have been playing together since you were 5. You know each other. This new student comes in and says, listen, I can come in and I can change stuff and I can make it better. I have a lot of gifts in basketball and I can make things better. There's going to be some animosity. There's going to be some hard feelings. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of work to accept the fact that sometimes you are not necessarily the best fit for a situation. Beowulf truly believes himself to be the most capable, brave, courageous, strongest warrior to ever live. And he really truly believes that there is not a monster out there he could not defeat. And so when he says to the king, I'm going to take care of your monster problem, the warrior who is standing by the king's right side says, no, you don't need to take care of the monster problem. Listen, I'm fine. I can take care of this monster problem. I'm all set. And he challenges Beowulf and says, you know what? I've heard of you, and I've heard of your BFF guy, and you guys, you thought you were just the best and the brightest, and where's your BFF now? He's not even with you. He's gone. He died. So how brave could you possibly be if you couldn't even save your best friend? I can handle this monster. This is my village. These are my people. This is my king. I'm the best man for the job. And he gets really kind of hot and bothered, really upset with Beowulf because he feels like Beowulf is insulting him. That Beowulf is saying, oh, it's okay, little boy. I'll go take care of this big bad monster for you. So Beowulf responds to this kind of challenge of whether or not he really truly is a hero and could he really take care of this monster. And he responds back to this warrior. And that's the script that you're going to hear. So again, the warrior has told Beowulf, listen, I'm going to take care of this monster. These are my people, my village, my king. This is my issue to deal with. And Beowulf looks back at him and corrects him. Now, I'm going to read to you the script. I do want to let you know that because this was written in such ancient English, it was updated. This kind of English is even more broken than Shakespeare, far more broken actually, and far harder to understand. You can definitely find the original script of Beowulf online, so I feel free to go look for that. If I think of it, I'll try to post one for you so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But I'm going to read this now. You can read along with me because I'm going to post a picture of the script. And then tomorrow, you and I are going to talk about what Beowulf says in this speech. Okay, so here's the script. The only thing I'm asking you to do today is just to type done. When you've listened to the entire video, just go ahead and type done so I can check off that you did today's assignment. Here we go. Beowulf answered, Ethgro's great son. Unferth, my friend, your face is hot with ale, and your tongue has tried to tell us about Breca's doings, but the truth is simple. No man swims in the sea as I can. No strength is a match for mine. As boys, Breca and I had boasted. We were both too young to know better, that we'd risk our lives far out at sea, and so we did. Both of us carried a naked sword, prepared for whales or the swift sharp teeth and beaks of needlefish. He could never leave me behind, swim faster across the waves than I could, and I had chosen to remain close to his side. I remained near him for 5 long nights until a flood swept us apart. The frozen sea surged around me. It grew dark. The wind turned bitter, blowing from the north. The waves were savage. Creatures who sleep deep in the sea were stirred into life, and the iron-hammered links on my Mal's shirt, those shining bits of metal woven across my breast, saved me from death. A monster seized me, drew me swiftly toward the bottom, swimming with its claws tight in my flesh. But fate let me find its heart with my sword, hack myself free. I fought the beast's last battle, left it floating lifeless in the sea. Other monsters crowded around me, continually attacking. I treated them politely, offering the edge of my razor-sharp sword. But the feast, I think, did not please them, filled their evil bellies with no banquet-rich food. Thrashing there at the bottom of the sea, by morning they decided to sleep on the shore. Laying on their backs, their blood spilled out on the sand. Afterward, sailors could cross that sea road and feel no fear. Nothing would stop their passing. Then God's bright beacon appeared in the east. The water lay still, and at last I could see the land windswept, cliff walls at the edge of the ocean. Fate saves the living when they drive away death by themselves. Lucky or not, 9 was the number of sea-huge monsters I killed. What man, anywhere under heaven's high arc, has fought in such darkness, endured more misery, or been harder pressed? Yet I survived the sea, smashed the monster's hot jaws, swam home from my journey. The swift-flowing waters swept me along, and I landed on finished soil. I've heard no tales of you, on Firth, telling of such clashing terror, such contests in the night. Brecca's battles were never so bold. Neither he nor you can match me, and I mean no boast. Have announced no more than I know to be true. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today. I hope that you enjoyed our mini lesson about Beowulf. Again, after you've come to the end, just put finished or listened or all set, and I'll mark you as done for the day. And we'll talk a little bit more about Beowulf tomorrow. I miss your faces, kiddos. Hugs.